Okay, back again. Now we're going to do sulfur. And any of you that have ever smelled sulfur, no, it does not smell good. Does not smell good. It's what's on the tip of your matches. And actually, there is a town called Sulphur, Oklahoma, that it's called that for a really good reason. They have a lake, a pond. I don't really know what you'd want to call it. Part of Lake Arbuckle, I believe, or something like that. That has a sulfur vein that runs down through there, and that water stinks. I mean, you can't taste it in the water. In fact, it is probably the cleanest tasting water you have ever tasted. It's better than well water. Like I said, it doesn't smell good whenever you're taking a drink of it, but you can't taste it. And of course, you know, the other folk name for it is brimstone. And I don't have a whole lot on it as far as I know the gender's male. The zodiac signs and all that, I don't have planet. If I had to pick a planet, I would guess, it's just a guess, but I would say Saturn or Mercury. I don't know. And if I had to pick a deity, it would probably be um, either, I'm trying to think of who might take over that. Probably Saturn himself, depending on what pantheon you follow. Maybe even Hades, or even Hecate. I mean, that is part of her realm every so often. So your guess is as good as mine on that. But it's used for luck, believe it or not, blockages and healing. Which, so therefore, if you have sulfur water, it would make sense to drink it, wouldn't it? If it's, excuse me, got healing properties in it. Okay, now the magical properties, it absorbs negative energy. It's used in the solar plexus of the chakra. It enhances creativity uh, and inspires imagination. If you keep a piece of sulfur in your main living space to absorb negativity, um, or you can keep a piece of sulfur somewhere in your home to absorb negativity, especially like say you have a husband that comes home all the time and he hates his job and he doesn't mind telling you about it for hours after he gets home. Put that in there, you know, put some in your living room or in your bedroom. Uh, that could help you. Or a roommate that's, you know, y'all don't really get along that good, but you kind of need each other to pay the bills. Anyway, you get my drift with that. And that's anyone you live with. It could be an unruly child of yours, a teenager that is their hormones are, you know, going berserk. Um, it can ease depression and boost the immune system and nervous system. And it's also a pain reliever when used in an elixir, hence sulfur water again. So if you can find any place that actually has a sulfur water well, that would be some pretty good water to get. You know, get you um, some of it and drink it. You know, at least one glass during the day. I don't know. Uh, it can also be used in a salve for aching muscles. You can add sulfur in quartz. Put sulfur in quartz in a mojo bag for a healing bag. So from what I've said, you can pretty much gather that it's a healing herb or a healing. This ain't even an herb; it's a mineral. Okay, but since a lot of witches use it, we normally use it to boost the spells. Put a kick in it. Some witches even put it on there. Whenever they want to, like, say, give an offering to a god or goddess, or planet, whatever they're doing, or send a petition out into the universe. They'll put, after they've done their spell, they'll put a little bit of sulfur on that, a lot of match to it, and just you get this poof, and it goes off into the atmosphere and the air where you want it to go. It's been known to help heal infections, fevers, joint pain, swelling, skin issues, colds, and exhaustion. I have heard of people, and now I'm not saying go get you an empty capsule and take sulfur. This is not what I'm saying. It has to be cleaned and it has to go through a process to be ingestible. But I have heard of people taking it for arthritis. The arthritis that makes your joints actually swell up very large, and it's very painful. But once again, no, don't go buy sulfur off the internet like this or in any store and just take a spoonful of powder. That would not be smart. You can also have a little I wouldn't call it an aura cleansing thing that I do with this, but I'd say it'd be your energetic space, which I guess could be considered the aura. To me, they're a little different. The energy is what gives the aura its colors, its glow. That's my opinion. That mean it's right. That mean it's wrong. It's just my opinion. But either way, you can let's see. Firstly, cleanse energy filled with. Yeah, after you cleanse it, you can like cleanse it with sulfur. Does that make sense? Like burn it like you would a sage bundle or your Palo Santo or whatever you smudge with. You smudge your aura, and then you can use seraphinite, which is a crystal that you would just have to look up. That's a whole different thing in all by itself. Or just a ritualized quartz. Now, if you want to buy the seraphinite, that's fine. But a rich rutilated quartz. I'm sorry, I said ritualized. It's rutilated quartz. Now, the precaution with this is when you're using sulfur and quartz together in a mojo bag, it could make you feel off balance because it is so powerful. After you're done with the bag, follow up with a grounding session. Use your grounding stones and ground yourself for a while. If you, just a few quick grounding stones, hematite is excellent. Tourmaline, or even smoky quartz is a good one too. That's after you pretty much, to me, that would be cleansing your body after you wear the mojo bag. All that's left your body, but you're going to be edgy. You're going to feel that taking place. So anyway, I'm sure there's a lot more on sulfur and all that, but that's just what I put down, and it's short and simple. Okay, now we're going to go on to thyme. And a lot of these herbs you can cook with it. We cook with and don't even know that, we're using a very special herb. So whenever you're using one that is very common, there are so many. that we cook with nowadays, and this is one, and I have it in my my herb jar that I used to cook with. Um, Whenever you're putting this in your food or any herb that you sprinkle on your food, say a chant with it. Um, most people put it in their hand to measure it out. Some people just shake it, and that's fine. If you're shaking it, you know, have your intentions with that every shake that you put in there, or if you put it in your hand, maybe hold your hand like that and say something quick over it, and then sprinkle it out. Um, anyway, Tom's a really good herb, of course, for cooking, for healing, and ringworm. Believe it or not, sometimes our kids, especially when they're little and they're touching, of course, nowadays, right now going on, we have a lot worse to worry about as far as contamination than ringworm. But whenever I was young, it was a big thing in schools. The teacher would actually come and check you out every once in a while. If they had some kind of outbreak that, they knew, they would look at all the kids' hands and their arms. And I mean, you can get them anywhere on your body, your face. But it can be used on ringworms directly in a salve. Now, I don't have that potion, as I like to call them, or you can say recipe. I call them potion. But there is a salve for that you can make on your own. And of course, the ruling zodiac sign is Taurus. The magical properties I have are you can use potpourri, put it in a sachet or sachet, as some people call it. I say sachet. It's excellent in healing spells. Um, you can put it beneath pillows for restful sleep. I wouldn't just put it loose under there. Use you a little baggie and put it under there. When worn, it develops psychic powers, and a sprig in the hair makes the woman irresistible. Now, I don't know if that's no wives' tale, but that's just what I read. What I've heard, put a little sprig of thyme in your hair, and it makes you irresistible. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, a salve of this can be used for burns, wounds, and sores. Hence, also the ringworm. It helps coughs, your digestive, and which is your GI tract. Flus, colds, cystitis, stimulates the circulatory system. It relieves anxiety and insomnia, clears infections of the reproductive system, helps ringworm, lice, and scabies. So, see, any sort of skin mite that you may have, Tom's good for it. You need to learn to make a salve to put on this stuff, and you don't have to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to a doctor, unless, of course, it doesn't work. And then, of course, take them to the doctor. I mean, I don't believe that some of these people that just don't believe in going to doctors at all. There are some more advanced medications that take care of things. You can't do everything at home. I don't mind trying it to avoid a big, huge doctor bill, or exposing your children to or loved ones to something that don't need to be exposed to. Sometimes I admit the doctors do go a little overboard. I mean, it seems once you're put on one medication, you've got to take one to counteract that one, and then you got to take another one because those two build up. And you start off with one med, and before you know it, you're on 12. So, I mean, I can completely understand why a lot of people, just want to be holistic and do things naturally, and that's fine and good. But when it comes to the safety and health of your child, and what you're doing isn't working, then you need to get them to the doctor, because then it becomes neglect and ignorance together, and that's not acceptable. Okay, now we're going to get to one of the stinkiest herbs you'll ever smell in your life. And I may have already mentioned this, and I may have done a video on it. If I did, I'm sorry, but I don't show that I have. And I can't find it if I did one. But welcome to valerian root. Wow. And I know that most of y'all on here, y'all, the witches, the experienced ones, or even the ones who are just learning, if you've ever smelt this, it is not a good smell. In fact, it smells like extremely dirty feet. That's the best way I can describe it. Like when somebody takes off their sock and you can smell them in another room. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Now, guess what it's used for? Okay. So what do bad smells normally do to anyone, anything? Deflect them, ward them off. But it's one of those, I'm a badass, smell me type herb, but it is also one of the most used and has the most medicinal properties of any of the herbs. It's used for sleep. You know that in pharmacies, or herbal stores, they'll have valerian root capsules for sleep. It's used for protection, for calmness, to remain calm. It's used in love spells, purification, and harmony. See, it's one of those herbs that smells horrible and you wouldn't want to touch it. It's, either poisonous or rotten or whatever, but it's on the other side of the spectrum. It is a beautiful, wonderful herb. Well, to me, they all are. They have their own personalities, just like we all do. So, anyway, the gender is female. The ruling element is water. The ruling planets are Venus and Mercury. And the ruling zodiac sign is Aquarius. Magical properties, it's put in dream pillows to ward off nightmares. It's combined with other herbs and put into sachets or amulets for protection. It's also drank as a tea to purify yourself, to detox, I should say. It can be used as a substitute for graveyard dirt. Once again, one end of the spectrum to the other. Graveyard dirt, or you can drink it to help cleanse your body. It increases any hex you put out. If you're going to do a hex spell, you can throw some valerian root in there and it just gives it more power. Like sulphur. Sulphur is the same thing during a hex. I probably didn't say that on my sulphur video. But a lot of times, it puts more power. Like I said, they put that oomph in there, push it out there, get it out there fast. You can use it alone as a hex when you put it in your enemy's doorway or pathway, or placed in a red bag and buried on their property to bring evil upon them. Now, the red bag thing, that may just be an old wives' tale, but there has to be something to it. Some witch figured out that worked some way or the other. Now, this is one that I would tell you not to do. Well, okay, I'll put it this way. If you're going to do it, don't get caught. I mean, after all, you can get shot on people's property If it's private property you wander on and you're out there digging stuff around or sprinkling stuff, you're where you don't belong, you get caught, you could very easily get shot. And as far as putting it where they're going to walk, you don't know where they're going to walk. Unless it's a specific thing. Say you work with them and they walk this certain way. I don't know. I don't know how you would even go there, but I would prefer just sit in my room and at my altar and do it there. I wouldn't go on somebody else's property. And I shouldn't have to tell you all this, but I'm going to anyway. Just for the sake to know that I did say it. Don't go on their property and do this. Like I said, it could get you, full of lead. And you couldn't put it in their doorway. I mean, what are you going to do? You're already enemies. You're going to walk up. You think they're going to open their door to you? How are you going to put it in the doorway? Or if you just walk up to their front porch and sprinkle some on their porch, they're going to see you coming. Or that most people have cameras. Just don't go on their property. Okay. Now, the medicinal properties of it, it's been known to be used in sleep disorders, for anxiety and stress. It decreases menopausal symptoms, like you could drink a Valerian root tea to calm menstrual cramps. Now, this says also that it improves your heart rate. Now, I wouldn't go by that one. And if you have any kind of heart issues, because whenever to me, and being in the medical field, this is what it would mean to me when it says improve your heart rate. Either your heart isn't beating in rhythm properly, and if it isn't, you're probably already on some sort of medication for that. Or if it beats too slow, tachycardia, bradycardia, or too fast. Normally they already have you on medicines for that. Now, I would not take this internally unless I talk to my physician if you're on any sort of heart medicine. Now, and I don't even have this down here, but because I'm a medication nurse, when it says improve the heart rate, now I don't know what that means. That doesn't elaborate enough for me to say, okay, take this, even if you're, say, taking Lanoxin or Cardizem or some sort of heart medication, because it could affect that medication. It could make it not work. It could make your heart beat too fast. It could make it beat too slow. I just wouldn't do it if you're on a heart medication. Don't ingest valerian root, okay? Not pill form, not unless you talk to your doctor, he okays it, and I don't see why any of them would, but I'm not a doctor. I'm just a nurse. So, anyway, it's also can be used for restless leg syndrome and cancer therapy. Now, the precaution I do have down here is it may have side effects when taken internally, such as headaches, nausea, and it's definitely not for children under 3. So, once again, I mean, I'll tell y'all a lot on these herbs, but do your own research too. I mean, what I tell you, I try to do, with the best accuracy that I can, and I study them, and this is what I go by, and I haven't killed anybody or myself yet. So, but I want you to do your own research, like I always tell you, because you may find something I didn't. No one's perfect, not even a witch. So, just be extremely careful. If you're on any sort of prescription meds, always, always, always make sure that they don't interact with anything else that you're going to take as far as the herbs go. Because think about it, most of these medications we have nowadays are derived from herbs, specific herbs that don't mix together. Just like us as witches, whenever we mix herbs together that are all bad, they're fighting in there. They're doing their thing, they're mixing together, and they're making a badass potion. Well, you're not going to ingest that, you know. Um, you're going to do something else with it, and it's probably some sort of hex, or um, if it's those kind of herbs. But I always stress this on my channel, mainly because like I said, I am in the medical field and I deal with medications all the time. But a good thing about here lately, the last several years, I guess, um, I've had a bunch of herbs, just natural herbs, come on my medication cart, and on the people's charts that I give, and I thought it was excellent. It's about time that people go back to um, the old times, the more natural things, if possible. Um, there are a lot of diseases out there that just one little herb isn't going to be able to cure. We all know that. I mean, be reasonable. That's why I was saying these parents that just sit there, they're right up there with those ones. Even us, we damn well believe in our witches, in our gods and goddesses. But our gods and goddesses also expect us to have sense enough to know if your child's sick, get it help. I mean, it does anyway. I ain't going off on that tangent. If you don't take your kid to the doctor, even I'm not saying don't try them for something minor, but if they get really majorly sick, don't think for 1 second that you're going to sit there and cure this child of cancer with, per se, valerian root or sulphur or thyme, any of our herbs. It's probably not going to happen. So get them to a doctor. And if you have a primary care physician or a pediatrician, tell them, explain to them, look, I like the herbs. I like the herbal remedies if I can use them. Explain to them which kind you take, run it by him, see what he says. Now, I'm not going to say every one of them, because a lot of them are in the clique with pharmaceutical companies, and they get so much off medications and they get samples, it's a shake my hand, I'll shake your hand, pat your back sort of thing. We all know that. But still, what it boils down to is the health of your child. So just be extremely careful what you give them. And a lot of people are allergic to these herbs and don't know it until they take them. Like me with the black cohosh. I got that and I thought, oh, this will be wonderful, for my leg cramps, I think is what I was taking it for, because one of the medications I take, one of the side effects is really bad leg cramps. To the point to where it will just have me in tears, literally crying. They hurt so bad. And so I read up on this, and that's what it said it was good for that. Well, I took it for about a week, and all of a sudden I come home from work one day and was changing out of my uniform, and my legs just looked horrible and they were swollen, and of course it freaked me out. I was like, what have I taken different? Oh yeah, that med that had the black cohosh in it, or that vitamin or supplement, whatever I was taking, but I'm pretty sure that's what did it. Anyway, I'm gonna go get off my rant, and we're getting some rain here, thank the goddess. Anyway, I may come on here and do 3 more. I'm in the mood to do it tonight, even though I look like crap. So y'all bear with me. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.